This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV.
Welcome to Monday Petty Monday, where we don't start drama, we just document it. If something annoyed you, irritated you, or lived rent-free in your head all week, you're in the right place.
A boss be rising, BBTV's igniting, turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it.
Righty, Petty Monday, family, settle in, because today we are talking about grudges, boundaries, and the fine line between I'm protecting my peace and I'm building a fortress with a moat and a dragon. If you're new here, this is the space where we take real stories from, real people, and we do not sugarcoat, we do not coddle, and we do not pretend that hurt magically expires just because a few years have passed. So today's theme is simple. When does something from 10 or 15 years ago stop being a valid boundary and start becoming a hill you're determined to die on, unalive on? Pardon me, YouTube. Pardon me. Hello, Plus Sister. Thank you for being here for any second. Love you, honey. Okay, so let's be honest. Some wounds heal with time, and some just sit there quietly until life hands you a baby, and suddenly everyone wants to reconnect. We're going to unpack family control, ultimatums, resentment, forgiveness versus access, and whether they were just strict is a valid explanation or a convenient rewrite of history. Love you, honey. And as always, we're not here to drag anyone for sport, but we are here to ask the uncomfortable questions. Are you protecting your child, or are you protecting your pride? Are you holding a boundary, or are you holding on to pain? And if someone regrets a decision they made years ago, what does accountability actually look like? So buckle up. Because here, this one is layered, emotional, and just petty enough to be Monday worthy. Let's get into it. Oh, where's my notes? I always forget my notes. I got them. Don't worry. I got this. All righty. Our first story of today. And it is a petty, petty, petty. That's not what I was looking for. Please. Copy. Paste. Look, I'm getting better at this. I'm going to lose my job. All right, y'all. Here we go. Let me get over here to this. Oop, that's not the one. Hello. This one. Pardon me. Forgive me. It's a Monday, y'all. Thank you, Aubrey Ramsey. I'm very happy to have you. Thank you so much. Oh, Poetic Tears, my sweet, sweet Poetic Tears. How are you, doll? I miss you. I hope everything's going okay for you over there. I've seen all your wonderful new posts. You go, girl. You got this. I know you do. You're the best. Y'all get over there and see Poetic Tears, okay? Because this lady, she has got every poem, every feel-good song, everything. Okay, get over there and see her, please. Good. I'm glad to hear it, honey. Okay, Niecy, see you back in a second. All right, let's start this. No, I'm not an actual bee, but you know what? Red velvet, you're not red, are you? Or are you velvet? I mean, because are you soft? Does that mean you're soft? Because red velvet is pretty soft. Granddaughter on February 15th. Oh, honey, congratulations. Yay. Aw, grandbabies. I love them so much. I have one and she is my world. I'm so excited for you, honey. Give her loves and kisses from Boss B, please. All right. Let me pull up this panel. Oh, thank you for letting me know. Thank you, Aubrey. I appreciate that very, very much. That goes a long way for us, you know. All right, I'm going to bring up this first one. Thank you. Oh, you better give her lots from me, you know, Texas size. All right, first panel. Okay, pardon the language. I'm going to try and filter as much as I possibly can. Okay, thank you, Aubrey. Thank you for the luck, especially. You be careful out there, okay? All right. Am I the a-hole for being petty to a 10-year-old? My husband has 2 girls from a previous marriage, Addison, and have a good day, sweetheart. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. It's a better day now that you've been here. All right, this I do want to say I do change names in here to be safe, okay? So, thank you. Okay. Addison, 12, and Madeline, 9. He and his ex broke up when he was pregnant, or she was pregnant with Madeline, and we started dating shortly after. I have been in the girl's life since Addison was 3 and Madeline was 6 months. Oh, we have primary custody during the school year. During the summer, they do 3 weeks with us, 1 week at their bio mom's house. Their bio mom has a 10-year-old stepdaughter, Lauren, that can be a bit of a bully. Madeline is very shy and has some sensory issues and minor developmental and speech delays, so she's seen as an easy target for Lauren. All 3 girls share a room, so Madeline doesn't really have escape from Lauren. Oh, goodness. This doesn't sound very good. All right. Last time I picked the girls up, Madeline ran to me and said that Lauren took a lot of her clothes and toys and wouldn't give them back. Their bio mom said Madeline gave them to Lauren, but Addison confirmed that Lauren did take them from Madeline. I was able to get a couple things back, like her favorite pajamas and stuffed animal, but Lauren and their bio mom wouldn't give anything else back. Well, that's not very nice. Okay, so their bio mom's house is very close to 2 very nice malls. I think it's also important to mention that my husband and I are much more well off than their bio mom and her husband. When I'm not sure why that's important, but okay. When Lauren and the girls' bio mom wouldn't give the rest of Maddie's stuff back, I promised the girls a shopping spree at the nearby malls. Lauren said she wants to come, but I told her that she just got a lot of new clothes and toys, so she doesn't need to go. She gave a lot more of Maddie's stuff back and asked if I could take her now, but the answer was still no. I can't blame you there. Thank you, Paul. Good to see you, hon. All the way from Gun Barrel City, Texas. My cousin still lives there, you know, or in that area. All right, so Lauren threw a temper tantrum, and the girl's bio mom has decided I am no longer welcome at her house, and that she will only release the girls to their dad, which is against the custody order. My husband is defending me to their bio mom, but he is saying I was petty and I shouldn't have done that. Okay, let's talk about that. My goodness. Let's just call this what it is, because people love to throw the word petty around anytime an adult refuses to roll over for a child who knows exactly what they're doing. Okay, honestly, you were not being petty to a 10-year-old. You were holding a boundary with a 10-year-old who has learned that she can take from someone smaller and face 0 consequences. BS in my house. No, that is not harmless playground nonsense. That is targeted behavior towards a shy child with sensory and speech delays who literally has no escape because they share a room. that changes the whole tone of this situation. When Maddie ran to you saying her things were taken and her sister confirmed it, that's not a misunderstanding, that's a pattern. When the bio mom backs Lauren, refuses to return the items, that's enabling. And I'm sorry, mom, stepmom, whatever, and pardon the language, but that's a shitty mom, if you ask me. Garbage AI. What is it? Maggot destroyer? I am certainly not an AI. But you know what? Thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that. Check that out, y'all. This one thinks I'm AI. AI? Really? I look that good? Thank you. All right. So, what did you do? You didn't scream. You didn't threaten. You didn't retaliate. By taking something from Lauren, you redirected the power dynamics, right? You like that one, poetic? I know, right? But okay, so you showed Maddie that if someone takes from you and adults don't fix it, you still have an advocate. The shopping trip wasn't about flexing money, it was about restoring dignity. Full stop. Dead ass. Okay. Now, here's the part people get uncomfortable with. Lauren wanted to come. Of course she did. Of course she did. She had just benefited from keeping Maddie's stuff and still expected access to more. Yeah, what can I take of hers next time, right? When you said no, that wasn't cruelty. That was natural consequences. And I mean, if her mom's not going to do it and she's not even the real mom and you're not her real mom either, doesn't that give you precedence? It would me. I'm sorry, you don't get to take and not suffer consequences. Consequences for actions, rewards for good behavior. Had you given those things back, or had you not even taken them in the first place, maybe you would have gotten all kinds of new stuff, since they're so well off, which bothers me. You don't have to really say kind of things like that in your story, but I get it, okay? You don't get rewarded after bullying someone and partially returning stolen items only when you realize you're missing out. That's not petty, that's teaching accountability. Amen, honey, for sister, okay? Could it have been handled more diplomatically to avoid, I guess, custody drama? Maybe. Hey, Des, there you are, my friend. It's not mall trips. It's a child being bullied in a home that's supposed to be safe, and the other parent minimizing it. No. Your husband calling it petty probably comes from wanting peace. That's all that is. You know it is. I mean, I wouldn't call it petty, but I would want the peace as well. It's not from thinking you were wrong. Okay. Peace is easier than conflict with an ex, obviously. But protecting Maddie matters more than smoothing bio mom's feelings. So no, you're not the villain here. I don't think your husband's really the villain here either. I think it's the mom or stepmom, whatever she is. Obviously, she's not much of one. So I guess the real question moving forward isn't whether you were petty. It's how the adults are going to create a clear boundary, that Maddie's belongings and emotional safety are not negotiable, period. Because if you don't draw that line now, this dynamic, it only gets worse as they get older. You know how your girl does. I had to grab some comments because we had some good ones and some petty ones. And that's what today is. Monday, Petty Monday. My favorite day. Just kidding. I like What the Fork Wednesday better. Those stories get crazy, huh? All right. So our first comment on this one. Here, there it is. Okay. Still learning my buttons over here, y'all. I do have them. Okay, so not the a-hole. Excuse me. Your husband is saying you are petty for not taking his ex's stepdaughter to the mall after he stole her stuff. No, she stole clothes and refused to give them back. Then their actual mom stood up for the thief. Huge a-hole. They only gave some things back so she could try to go to the mall with you. Is that a joke? That's a good question. I wouldn't have taken her either way. Me either. Also, don't bring any of their nice things to their mothers anymore. Agreed. Okay. Agreed. I mean, I was a stepchild, but my children don't have a step parent, so I'm not positive of that dynamic, but I think I have to agree there. is there a is there a way you can give her a luggage lock for when she does stay there? Not a bad idea, but I think that's a little extreme. He says telling the girls about it in front of Lauren, then refusing to take her is petty. Not refusing to take her. Also, none of the things she stole were really nice. They were mostly clothes from Carter's and Target. A stuffed elephant she's had since she was, I think this is the edit, pardon me, 2. I got it back. And some other cheaper toys. Ah, I see. It's justified petty then, in my opinion. You steal and won't return. Mom allows it. Then it's okay, girls, let's go to the mall. While thinking in my head, you little jerk, LOL. But yeah, maybe it'll teach her not to flipping steal. Okay, this one was everywhere, scattered, obviously. Look, the fact that this stuff wasn't expensive actually makes this worse, not better. Okay, because we're talking about Target clothes and a stuffed elephant that she's had since she was 2, not designer handbags, right? So the value was emotional, not financial. Your husband saying the petty part was announcing the mall trip in front of Lauren is really about optics, not morality. Look, he's trying to avoid escalation with the ex. Period. It's never going to be different. But natural consequences are sometimes visible. You don't get to keep someone's belongings, refuse to return them, and then expect to be rewarded when a better opportunity shows up. That's not how accountability works. And returning items only after realizing you're missing out on a shopping spree isn't remorse, it's strategy. Plain and simple. I was a kid once too. Animosity. Yes, yes, yes. Lots of that. Lots of that. So no, this wasn't cruel. It was a boundary. That's my opinion. If anything, the real issue is adults minimizing theft instead of correcting it. If this moment makes her think twice next time, that's not petty. That's preventative parenting. And hooray, kudos to you. Lots of honey on that one for doing that. Seriously. Okay, another comment. There's a cliche warning for parents. If you don't discipline your child, then the world will do it for you. No one wants to be petty to a 10-year-old, but when they're stealing from your kid and their parents are just sitting back letting it happen, well, you left the door open for me to show them what an a-hole they're being and how much of an a-hole I can be in response. Amen, sis. Amen. Look, there's truth in that cliche. Because when parents refuse to correct behavior, the world absolutely will. Okay. And it's usually harsher. So why would you do that to your child is my problem. But this isn't about showing a teen or a 10-year-old, okay, how big of an a-hole an adult can be in response. It's about modeling boundaries without becoming the villain in your own story. You aren't trying to out petty a child. You were stepping in where discipline failed. When a kid steals and the adults shrug, someone has to draw a line. The key is making sure the lesson is about accountability, not revenge, okay? Because the goal isn't to win against a 10-year-old. It's to protect your child and reinforce that actions have consequences, right? All righty. Probably, let's see, my this goofy MF. Okay. Why is your background AI generated? I guess I like it. You're probably going to see another background or two when I put up my AI generated music for my break and then my AI generated promos at the end. AI is here. Okay, so we have another commenter. Ha. Alrighty. Third commenter. Also, none of the things she stole were really nice. That's not really the point, though, is it? She stole stuff from her stepsister, your stepdaughter, who is 9 years old. Like, she isn't some criminal mastermind trying to make bank pawning off expensive jewelry to the nearest fence. She just wanted to be a bully to Madeline, and her own stepmom encouraged her in it. At that point, it doesn't really matter whether she stole a brand new iPad or some worn out shoes. Madeline doesn't even wear that much anymore. Okay. All right. Well, exactly. The price tag is irrelevant here. Okay. This wasn't some elaborate scheme to profit off expensive items. It was a power move against a 9-year-old who's already shy and vulnerable. Now, whether it was an iPad or worn out shoes, it really doesn't change the core issue here because the act wasn't about money. It was about dominance. And when the adult in that house backs it instead of correcting it, that's what makes it bigger. That just, it's like kids being kids. No, it makes it much bigger than that. The harm isn't financial, it's emotional. So minimizing it because the items weren't high value completely misses the point, right? The lesson needed to be about respect and boundaries, not about what the resale value would have been. Okay. Next one. Just in case, you should write down the whole interaction and keep a record of it. Amen. I agree. If Biomom keeps taking Lauren's side, you might need a record of every interaction if this ever goes back to court. Also, first, second luggage with a lock and reminding the girls not to take anything to their mom's house. It would hurt to lose. It sucks they have to live like that, but now they know Biomom won't take their side. It's better to be ready for it. Amen. I can't agree with that any less. That's actually the most grounded advice in this whole thread, I think. When custody dynamics start getting tense, documentation isn't said. What was taken, what was returned, and how each adult responded. Not to weaponize it, but to create clarity if, patterns continue and the luggage with a lock idea isn't, well, it's not about teaching the girls to live in fear, really. It's about giving them control in a space that hasn't felt secure, right? It's unfortunate that they even have to think that way, but preparing them is better than pretending that the issue doesn't exist, right? I'm sorry. It looks like I'm having a little issue here. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not. Give me just a moment, please. Yep. Of course. I'm just trying to make sure that my internet is not messing with me. Forgive me. So if Biomom keeps minimizing behavior like this, right? Paper trail protects everyone, especially the kids. And I think that's who we're here to protect, correct? Yeah. Okay, so next comment. Keep receipts of the items you buy for your kids. You'll need them. Agreed. Scanning them is best, but file folder will work. If the kid on X are stealing from your kids now, it's likely won't get better as time goes on. Have a sit down with your husband and noodle out how it should be handled the next time the kid and ex steal from your family. Keep all the texts in case you need to have the lawyer go for custody. Amen. I agree. I agree to every single bit of that. This is less about. There's already a pattern of items going missing and being minimized. Keeping receipts and scanning them is just smart documentation. It protects you from gaslighting later about what, was or wasn't taken. More importantly, you and your husband need to be aligned before the next incident happens, not in the heat of the moment, but calmly deciding what the response will be if something is taken again. When both adults in your home are on the same page, the boundary it holds. And yes, keeping texts, it's practical, not dramatic. Okay? If things escalate, having records keeps the focus on fact instead of emotion. And that's much more important, I would think. Right? All right, it's time for that wonderful song of mine. I'm going to take a quick break, let my dog out because he's old and he has old man bladder. So I shall be right back.
She came from the quiet storms, built a fire from the ground, turned a whisper to a warning. Now her voice shakes the town. Every setback was a lesson. Every doubt became a key, unlocking something bigger. That's the rise of Boss B. When the lights go low, her vision hits high. She built her whole damn network off a promise and a try. Every sunrise, every moment, she's stacking legacy. This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV. A Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback, the storm in the stream, crafting stories out of heartbeats, making visions out of dreams. Got thunder in the hustle, got a voice that cuts clean. Every mic she touches turns to power unseen. So let further spin the numbers, let the views rise past. This moment is a pivot, this season's history. Bow down to the founder of the BBTV dynasty. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's got fire in the head, it's got truth in the frame, got a heart that won't retire and a gift you can't name. Every loop, every letter, every dream she sets free, it's a love note to the world sign. Boss B. And the world keeps watching as the numbers climb, but she's counting all the moments, not the dollar signs. From the late night grind to the daylight scene, she's building something bigger than the algorithm's dream. Boss B rising, BBTV shining, her story's rewriting, a legacy in real time. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. Watch her take her place. This is BBTV. This is her grace.
Alrighty, y'all. We are back. I had my break. Animals are good. I'm good. Except for now they're going to start barking because they hear things out there. Shh. Don't. No, sir. Thank you. All right. Here we go. Let's try this again. Let's see here. We have a whole new story. That one was a little bit on the crazy side, if you ask me. This one was a little shorter, but it's still a good one. At least I think so. Y'all let me know in the comments, would you? Alrighty. Am I the a-hole for 100% refusing to let my dad and mom see my child for something alone or something done 10 to 15 years ago? Petty. Okay, so this is kind of complex. I'll make it short. This ACC account is just for privacy reasons. I always had good grades in high school and was home on time, cleaned the house, etc. I never had problems with my parents before this. I went to med school, still living with parents when I was 20. I dated someone who was 23. Dad was against this because he does not believe in dating people far older than you. So, don't date far from your own age, and says I cannot date Jay. Argument breaks out. Dad says it's his house, so either I agree or I move out. I say it's not fair as Jay has a job, goes to college, has future plans, etc. Dad kicks me out. Mom agrees with his decision. Little bro was only 14 at the time. I moved with Jay. His family was supportive, helped me with my college. I went to another college due to financial reasons, finished my required years, but still kept in touch with my little brother. Years later, me and Jay, with the help of his parents, got a small house, really small, but I'm happy with it. I ended up giving birth to a sweet baby girl. I let my little bro know that he could come see her when he was able to. He came a few times. Okay. So today, bro came to see the baby and asked when I was going to let mom and dad see her since they wanted to reconnect. I said never and that I wasn't going to forgive them. Bro says I'm being unreasonable as they were just strict and trying to protect me. I say that's bullshit because dad shouldn't have kicked me out over age. Amen. Bro says I should at least let mom come because she didn't want to agree with it. I say mom was able to do something but didn't. But that bro's situation was different because he was only 15. Bro is upset because he says mom and dad regret their decision and just want to reconnect and that I am dragging this entire situation. I told him that if he thinks I'm dragging it out, then he can stay out of my life too. He's angry and says that I need to move on and that I shouldn't be withholding them from seeing their grandchild. I say that they disowned me and so have no grandchild from a daughter that doesn't exist. Tough, tough, tough. So am I the a-hole? I don't hate my bro and I kind of get what he is saying, but I just have a resentment for my parents. It's not like I had a baby just to put it against them, but my little bro thinks uh, I'm going to unalive on a hill with them for something done several years ago, and it's petty. I'm curious on what Reddit thinks. I want a relationship with my bro, just not my mom and dad. That is a tough one, you know, because I understand those dynamics to an extent. I can't say I understand completely, but this isn't about a random teenage rule disagreement. This is about being kicked out of your home at 20 years old for choosing who you dated. And that changes everything, don't you think? You weren't failing school, you weren't spiraling, you were in med school, responsible, doing what you were supposed to do, and your dad drew a hard line over an age gap that, while he didn't like it, wasn't illegal or inherently reckless, right? 20 and 23, that's the same age, if you ask me. But when he said my house, my rules, and followed that up by, actually kicking you out, that wasn't just strict parenting. That was a rupture because he couldn't control you anymore. Your mom backing him, even if she was uncomfortable, still meant you were out the door. That kind of thing sticks. It doesn't evaporate just because a decade passed. Now, I think here's the important part. Forgiveness and access are not the same thing. You can work through resentment internally and still decide someone doesn't get get automatic access to your child. Okay? Being a grandparent is not a right, it's a relationship built on trust. And from your perspective, they disowned you over control. So you don't feel safe reopening that door. That's reasonable. Your brother sees regret and softened parents. You see the night you had to pack your life because you wouldn't comply. Both can be true. Now, where you cross into shaky territory is that they have no grandchildren from a daughter that doesn't exist line. Forgive me, but that's not boundary, that's pain talking. And pain makes things absolute, right? The question isn't whether you're an asshole for being hurt. You're not. Being kicked out by your parents during a formative time is a deep wound. The question is whether holding a permanent wall serves you or just keeps the injury alive. Look, you're allowed to protect your child from dynamics you don't trust. You're absolutely allowed to take your time. But if there's ever going to be any path forward, it will probably start with a conversation between adults, not through your brother as a messenger. Now, wanting a relationship with him, but not them, is understandable. But asking him to fully detach from his parents to stay close to you, they put him in an impossible position. So you can't do that either. And that isn't petty, it's unresolved. And unresolved things don't disappear. You know they don't. They just sit quietly until moments like this bring them back up. And they will come back up. You know they will. There's no doubt about that. No doubt at all. And of course, I have some comments for these two. Just a few. All right. So, first commenter. Pardon me. Weather's going back and forth in Texas. Okay, so not the a-hole. Two things. 23 isn't too far from 20. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Holy shit. I feel like your parents just used that excuse as a way to control you. It's manipulative and gross to give your grown daughter ultimatums over who she dates. I mean, yeah, 20 years old. They haven't had that right for 2 years, as far as I'm concerned. That's the way it is here. You have every right to be angry. You have every right to decide who your child sees and who it doesn't. If you were, or if I were you, I'd tell your brother that this is your child and your decisions are to be respected and not discussed any further unless he wants to damage the relationship you guys have maintained. Okay, and there's an edit for those quoting me, and this is an edit for the commenter. For those quoting me on you have every right to decide who your child sees and who doesn't, and how that's the same mind that her parents originally had. Y'all know damn well that there's a big ass difference between making decisions for a young child and for an older teen or adult. Agreed. Sorry, but agreed. Even with the language. Pardon me, of course. Now, the OP responded to this. 23 isn't too far away from 20. Again, strict parents. As you can imagine, it sort of tipped me off. Yeah, obviously. Look, a 3-year age gap at 20 isn't extreme on its own. So I understand why the ultimatum felt more like control than protection. I called it control right away, especially if you already grew up with strict parents. The issue wasn't the number, it was being kicked out over it. That's ludicrous, okay? That's what turned it from concerned parenting into rupture. And yes, you have every right to decide who sees your child, but that right works best when it's rooted in trust and safety, not just unresolved anger. The power dynamic between parents and a dependent child isn't the same as an adult deciding access to their own baby. Okay. And that distinction really matters. All right. A few more. So the second commenter says, to be honest, I don't think they're strict. I just think they're crazy and manipulative. Facts. Third commenter says, yeah, it has, and this is in sequence, so they're kind of all commenting the same. Yeah, it has nothing to do with strictness. That's a BS. It's all about controlling. See, 3 years in that age is perfectly fine. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. My husband, 6 years older. So throwing out your daughter because her partner is 3 years older than her, Jesus. Yep, not the a-hole. Okay, fourth commenter. I mean, if I'm still living in their house when my parents find out my significant other is 34 years older than me, 34, they would have grounds to be upset. I don't plan to be, but 3 years. About the only time that would be a remotely inappropriate age gap would be if the original poster was like 16 or 17 and in high school. True. And her boyfriend was like 19 or 20 and in college. True. Also very true. Look, calling them crazy or purely manipulative, that might feel validating, but it also oversimplifies something that was probably a mix of control, fear, and rigid beliefs. You know, a 3-year gap at 20 is not inappropriate. I don't care who you are. It's not. Especially compared to situations where someone is still a minor and the age difference creates a real power imbalance, right? That's fine. I get it. No, if she's under 18, she's jailbait. Same with him. Okay? But the bigger issue wasn't the age itself. It was the severity of the response, kicking you out instead of setting boundaries or having an adult conversation. That's why this still feels extreme. You can acknowledge their reaction went too far without reducing them to villains, because labeling them that way may feel good in the moment, but doesn't actually help you decide, okay, what to do next. Seriously. All right, here we go. Fifth comp, and this is the last one, I promise. I mean, if I'm still living in their house when my parents find out, I guess we're reiterating. is 34 years older than me, they would have grounds to be upset. Yeah, exactly. Upset, not kick you out over it and pretend that they were only trying to protect you. If they really were trying to protect you, they wouldn't kick you out knowing you have nowhere to go except to your significant other, who they are supposedly trying to protect you from. That logic is bullshit and nobody's buying it. Amen to this commenter. You know why I took this one. This is exactly what I would have said. There's a fair point here, right? Parents being upset is one thing, especially if there's a huge gap or a real concern about safety. But upset and eviction are two very different reactions. If the goal was to truly protection, right? Pushing you out with nowhere to land except the very person they distrusted doesn't line up logically. That's why it felt less like guidance and more like control. Still, calling their logic bullshit might feel satisfying, but it keeps this framed as a battle to win instead of a wound to examine. The real issue isn't whether they were wrong to worry, it's whether their response permanently broke trust. Don't you think? Man, we got through those quick today, didn't we? Anybody still out there alive? Y'all still awake? Well, look, y'all, I have to repeat myself. Excuse the language. I did write that one in a rush. Gathered my research and everything. But that's because I'm out here living the real life, right? You know, we all got things we have to deal with. So I have to get back to it. So I'm going to have to let this one go a little bit early today. But listen, Petty Monday crew, this is where we land the plane, okay? Because today wasn't about who won the argument or who had the best clapback. It was about boundaries versus bitterness, consequences versus control, and whether time alone actually fixes anything. You know, family dynamics are messy, especially when pride, regret, and babies get thrown into the mix. And here's the truth that we keep circling back to on this show. You're allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to protect your child, but you also have to check your motives. Are you making decisions from clarity or from unresolved hurt? Because those feel very similar in the moment, but they lead to very different outcomes long term. So if today's stories hit home for you, or even just a little bit, you know, go check it out. Read it, watch it again. Because I really need all you watching this stuff. You know, and if you need a little bit of help, hey, you guys need to get over to Tuber Chat for me. That's where they keep conversations going after cameras cool off. You know, drop your take, experiences. I would have done this differently moments. You don't have to bring logic. And if you want more behind the scenes, more unfiltered takes, and more of this layered conversation, you guys don't forget to be back here tomorrow. Also, don't forget to check out BB. She's going to be here right after Tuber Chat. Well, she's going to be there for Tuber Chat too. You know, she's my AI slot. And what do y'all think about that song, truthfully? I mean, I am Boss B Rising. You know, I love it when somebody comes into my dang chat and starts talking about AI slot. Generated AI, my background. You know what? My background, yes, it was generated by AI. I didn't actually get this one or generate this one myself, but it is generated AI, and it's pretty dang cool for me. You know, you could see the wall if you want to, but it's not near as cool as that background. And I'm going to use AI, and I'm so sorry if that makes you upset. I truly am. But personally, I know that YouTube don't mind as long as my face is up here. And here it is, whether you like it or not. Yeah, I'm not beautiful to look at, but let me tell you something. I'm real. I'm here every single day. And guess what? I will be back here tomorrow for Truthful Tuesday, and I'm going to have some crazy stories yet again with this AI background and that AI song and my AI promos. So, good song. Thank you, Des. I appreciate you, man. You're the best. I love you, dear. All right, y'all. I am out of here because I got to go deal with life. So, let me tell you something. Get over to Tuber Chat. They are awesome. And come back here tomorrow. Don't forget my Iron Sharpening Iron Universe. Hey, I just got our next Ladies Diary in the works. Y'all be here for it. Y'all be here for it. Go check me out. Love you. Bye.
I want to take a minute to shout out Tuber Chat. If you're a creator who's tired of surface level advice, says, and actually wants to understand how YouTube works, that's the space. It's real conversations with real creators who are in the trenches, building channels, testing ideas. No posturing, no gatekeeping, no fake guru energy, just people sharing what's working, what isn't, and why.
If you're serious about growing, learning, and not doing this alone, check out Tuber Chat. The link is in the description. If you're enjoying this show, subscribing is the easiest way to support what's being built here on BBTV. You'll see the join button right next to subscribe. No pressure, no expectations, just an option for people who want to support the channel in a real way. We're live every day at 3 p.m. Central now. And don't worry, we didn't change the heat, just the clock. And if you've got a story you want to share, send it in. Anonymous is always fine.